So we are starting with a new module for this week, no? This module is all about pigments or colorants in foods and plant pigments. So under this topic, we have four major pigments to discuss, as well as a group of pigments na collectively under the flavonoid na category. Okay. So, yon yung coverage ng Module 3. Okay. So, we will be discussing Module 3 for the next uh, three, 3 weeks. Okay? So, yung coverage ng midterm exam ninyo is from enzymes, and then we have the Browning reactions in foods, and then the colorants and plant pigments. So, yun yung ating coverage for the midterm exam, which we will have on March 26. Okay? Now, the content of this module is that we're going to discuss the structure, classification, and properties of colorants in food and the different plant pigments, as well as the changes that may happen during processing and storage, and of course, control of these changes in pigments and colorants. Kasi when we process our food, certain processing elements or processing conditions may affect or degrade the color of food, thereby decreasing the visual appeal or visual quality of your food. Okay. Now, aside from discussing um, colors and colorants, no, providing their definition, we're also going to discuss chlorophyll in this video lesson. Now, first, let us define what color is. Okay, so color, this refers to the human perception of visible light reflected from materials. For example, when you see a food product that is red, for example, strawberry. Strawberry is red. By scientific definition, red is the visible light that is reflected from that material. All other colors are absorbed by that material. Only the red is reflected. Okay? Now, what about colorant? So, colorant is any natural or synthetic substance that is added to food, no, to impart color. So, for example, you're baking a cake, and then, of course, you put frosting. Then, to make your cake colorful, you can add different types of colorants. Now, the basic color or the primary colors, the usual natin na makikita is your red, the blue, and the yellow. Sometimes, merong available na green. But in the absence of the green color, of course, we know that if we combine blue and yellow, we can come up with the green color. Okay, so these are the four major basic na or common, pinaka-common na mga colorants available in the market. Then we have dyes. So, um, ano naman yung dye? Okay, so dye is a type of a colorant. And ang pinagkaiba niya later sa lakes is that it is water soluble. Okay, again, dyes are water soluble colorants, no, that may provide color to your materials or food product, for example. Now, each dye is designated by the US FDA with what we call the FDNC number. Okay, so FDNC stands for Food, Drug, and Cosmetic. So any of these colorants um, can be used in food, can be used in medicine, and can be used in cosmetics. So they are safe, no, for use. Now, um, so yon si US FDA, nag-a-assign sila ng FDNC number. Now, added to the approved list of certified colors are the FDNC lakes. So, mamaya i-describe natin kung ano naman yung lakes. Anong pinagkaiba ng lake sa dye? Now, the dye substratum combination is achieved by adsorption, co-precipitation, or chemical reaction. Now, while, again, balikan natin si dye. Dye is water soluble. Lake, on the other hand, is oil dispersible. Now, meaning it cannot, um, it can be dispersed, no, in an oil medium. But it does not mean that it is soluble. It's just that it can easily be dispersed in oil. Okay? Now, another is the term that we have to consider or we have to memorize the alumina. So, the alumina is the only approved substratum for preparing FDNC lakes. Okay? So, again, we have your dye, which is water soluble, and then a substratum of the dye, no, that tawag dito, um, can be manipulated to be oil dispersible is your lakes. Okay? And then alumina is the only substratum, no, from this dye that can be used for preparing the FDNC lakes. Okay? Now, take note, kasi kanina, di ba, we mentioned that the US FDA is the approving body that accredits or approve certain dyes and lakes, no, as food grade or food, drug, and cosmetic safe to use. However, let us take note that other countries have their own accreditation or authorizing bodies. So, for example, in Europe, we have your European Economic Community, and also we have your WHO or World Health Organization, which also have their own uh, classification and specification for different dyes, lakes, and alumina. Okay. Now, pigments. Ano naman yung pigments? Okay, pigments are natural colorants present in the cells and tissues of plants and animals. So, pigments can be found in plants and animals. Okay, so several food pigments are unstable and during processing and storage resulting to undesirable changes. Okay, so these pigments yung we will discuss in this module. Okay, now what are the factors that affect the stability of pigments? Number one, light. Okay, so presence of light. Now, if you recall or observe, some food products have a colored as well as opaque na packaging, hindi see-through, no? Hindi natin kita yung produkto sa loob. That is intentional because aside from design, um, there is also a function, no? To that. Uh, Probably another function for that is to yung ano, i-eliminate natin o ano, ang tawag dito, or put a barrier, no, between the food product and the source of light. Okay? So, yon. Another factor is the presence of oxygen. Well, some of the natural pigments can be oxidized. Metals can also chelate or chelate with some of your pigments, as well as it may hasten oxidation of your pigments. Then we have oxidizing and reducing metals, temperature, water activity, and pH. Now, some colorants are exempted from certification. As I mentioned kanina, di ba? Na si US FDA certifies the different pigments and colors as whether they are safe or unsafe to use. In Europe, we have the European Economic Committee, and of course, we have WHO. Now, some pigments are exempted from this certification. Okay, meaning they are safe to use. So, included are the pigments or substances synthesized but identical to the natural pigment. Now, let us take a look at this classification. So, uh, dyes and lakes must be certified. Okay? So, kailangan talaga ng approval or issuance ng pig, colorant na number. Okay? For example, we have your FD&C red. So, eto, si FD&C red number 40, ang description ng color niya is Allura red. So ito 'yon, nakikita niyo sa screen. Yan yung kulay niya. And its molecular formula is also provided here. Now lake, as in lake of FD&C red number 40. Anong ibig sabihin? Si lake kasi mas malawak siya kaysa sa dye. So si dye is very particular, while lake of FD&C red number 40, mga yung base color niya is red, pero magkaiba sila ng shades. No? Yun yung ibig sabihin nito. Now, what are the pigments exempted no from certification? So, we have your natural pigments, yung makikita natin naturally from our fruits and vegetables or plant sources. For example, um, yung red na dragon fruit, di ba? Very vivid yung kulay niya. Ube, no, is a natural colorant. It imparts the ube flavor as well as the purple na color. Okay? So, and then we have your synthetic or nature identical na mga colorants. For example, your beta carotene, which has the yellow to orange na color. Okay, so it is synthetic, but it is nature identical. To give you a preview of what we're going to discuss in Module 3, so this is the color spectrum, no? So, nakikita natin dito, parang color wheel siya, and there are spectrum of colors. So, we have your carotenoids, which we're going to discuss. We have betalanes. Okay, betalanes are in the range of red to purple. Then we have your anthocyanins and phycocyanins, which are from the uh, purple to blue to greenish blue na spectrum. And we also have your chlorophyll, which are the green spectrum no of colors. And this is what we're going to discuss this afternoon. So chlorophyll are the natural green pigment of your plants, no? Specifically your green leafy vegetables. Okay? So, the range of color is green siya, pero may different siya na levels no, ng pagka-green. Now, cauliflower, although it appears na white colored si cauliflower, but the contributing color actually ni white cauliflower is chlorophyll. Okay? Pero at very small amounts lang or small concentration lang. Now let's take a look at the structure of your chlorophyll. Now, please Take note of the structure. This is going to be part of your exam. No, you should be able to recognize the different structures of your pigments. Okay. So chlorophyll, this is the um, parang pinaka-basic structure ni chlorophyll. Now, they are the major light harvesting pigments in your green plants, algae, and photosynthetic bacteria. So, chlorophyll is not only found in plants, it can also be found in algae, no, which we can find in bodies of water, as well as photosynthetic bacteria. Now, this structure is what we call porphin. Okay? Porphin or porphyrin. Now, this porphin or porphyrin, um, possible na merong mag-attach na um, metal ion dito sa gitna niya. Okay? So, in porphin, it contains magnesium dito sa gitna. So, magnesium-containing complex siya ng porphyrin. No, that is your chlorophyll. Now, porphin is the parent microcyclic tetrapyrrole structure of porphyrins. Okay? So, what do we mean by tetra? Tetra is 4, and then pyrrole is this one. So, this is one pyrrole ring, another one, and another one here. So there are 4. Again, there are 4 pyrrole rings in your porphyrin. And your chlorophyll is a porphyrin that contains a magnesium complex. Okay? So, tandaan natin yan. Inaano ko lang ha, binabaliktad-baliktad ko lang yung statement para ma-recall niyo at matandaan niyo. Now, substituted porphins, eto, di ba si porphin, no? Pag si porphin, wala pa siyang wala pa siyang central ion dito, ang tawag sa kanya ay porphin. But once it is substituted, they are now called as porphyrins. So a porphyrin, again, is a macrocyclic cyclic tetrapyrrole pigment in which the pyrrole rings are joined by methine bridges, and the system of double bonds forms a closed conjugated loop. So this is your sabi natin na methine bridges, okay? And then because of this bridging, they are joined together to form a closed loop. Now, here are several variations, no, of your porphin tsaka porphyrin. Okay? So, let's take note of this. So, this is your porphin. Basic siya. Wala siyang central ion. And it contains 4 pyrrole rings. Now, chlorine. Ito, chlorine. Or another term for it is your forbin. Okay? Chlorine ring is the core structure of the chlorophyll molecules and is formed by the addition of a fifth isocyclic ring to porphin. So, if you take a look at chlorine, diba? Ito si chlorine. Okay? Yung pinagkaiba nila ni porphin is this one. Okay? So, dito, sa kay porphin, double bond siya at that position, pero sa kay chlorine, wala tayong makikitang double bond. So, medyo ni-rotate lang ng konti, no? Yung structure ni chlorine. Now, si chlorine tsaka si forbin, anong pinagkaiba nila? Ang pinagkaiba is that this one. Ito yung minimension natin na addition of a fifth isocyclic ring to your porphin. So, dito walang fifth na isocyclic ring. So, dito, ito, si forbin, siya yung parang pinaka-basic na structure ng ating chlorophyll. Okay? So, wag na natin to, si bacteriochlorine tsaka betaine, wag na nating pansinin sila because they are identical to the major structure of our chlorophyll pero iba na kasi yung ano nila, uh, pigment na involved sila. So, itong pinakatandaan natin si Forbin, di ba? Meron siya parang tail dito. Okay? So again, Forbin is considered to be the nucleus of all chlorophylls. So in the previous slide, we mentioned that your chlorophyll is a porphyrin or Forbin, no, which contains magnesium complex. Okay? So this is your Forbin. And kung titingnan natin dito sa kay chlorophyll, eto, sandali ito si chlorophyll natin. Your chlorophyll is composed of your porphyrin head. Sandali, ano ba yun? Porphyrin head and its hydrocarbon tail or tawag dito is your phytol tail. So if you look closely, si porphyrin head is basically your Forbin except that there is now a magnesium here at the sa central ion dito, no, sa gitna. While Forbin, wala, 'di ba? Wala siyang magnesium. Okay? Yan yung pagkakatandaan natin. Now again, chlorophyll always have a tail. So dalawa, porphyrin head, tsaka phytol tail or your hydrocarbon tail. Okay, so that is your chlorophyll molecule. Now, each chlorophyll molecule is found, no, within the chloroplast interior of your uh, plant cells. Okay? Now, si chlorophyll, marami siyang mga, tawag natin, mga derivatives, no? O marami siyang form. Okay? So, we have your chlorophyll A tsaka chlorophyll B. Actually, meron pang chlorophyll C and D. Now, several chlorophylls in nature differ in the substituents around the Forbin nucleus. So, ang pinaka-common denominator ng different variants ng chlorophyll is that, again, they have your Forbin nucleus. Ito. Sandali, I will change color. So, this is your Forbin nucleus, di ba? Meron si chlorophyll B, meron din. Okay, now, nagkakaiba lang ang different variants of chlorophyll depende on the substituents that are attached, no, to the Forbin nucleus. So in the case of your chlorophyll A, it has a methyl group attached here. Sandali, ito. Nakikita nyo? Okay, merong methyl group na naka-attached as a substituent to your chlorophyll A. While your chlorophyll B, this one, may naka-attach na formyl na group. So, as a substituent. Okay? So, yon ang pinagkaiba ni chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Now, of the position of the substituent group is in the carbon 3 position, which is this one. Okay? Now, the common substituents in chlorophyll derivatives is we have your avinyl and an ethyl group at the carbon 2 and carbon 4. We can also have a carbomethoxy group at the carbon 10 position, and the phytol group is esterified to propionate, no, at the carbon 7 position. Okay? So again, marami tayong variants ng ating chlorophyll. Now, balikan natin si chlorophyll, di ba? We mentioned that it has a porphyrin head and a phytol or hydrocarbon tail. Now, the hydrocarbon tail or the phytol tail usually has 20 carbon monounsaturated isoprenoid alcohol. Okay? So, yung tail niya, meron daw 20 na carbons. Now, as mentioned earlier, there are plenty of chlorophyll variants found in nature. So, we have the major, no, or the most common na makikita natin is your chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. But we also have your chlorophyll C, which is usually found in association with chlorophyll A in marine algae, no? So bodies of water sila nakikita. Then we also have your chlorophyll D, which is a minor constituents that usually accompany chlorophyll A in red algae. Ma'am, what do you mean by a company? Now, chlorophyll, uh, it's not, parang hindi siya soloist na compound, no? Na chlorophyll lang talaga yung green na makikita mo sa plant tissues. No, it's not that. What it means that when we say a constituent accompanying is that the green colored chlorophyll A, no, can exist in the tissues of your plants or fruits and vegetables for that matter, but it is accompanied or may kasama siya na chlorophyll D or chlorophyll C. So, hindi siya purong-puro na chlorophyll A lang ang nagpo-provide ng green color sa iyong plants or fruits and vegetables. Okay? Then you also have your Bacterochlorophyllus, which is usually found in photosynthetic bacteria. And then we have your chlorobiome chlorophylls, which is found in green sulfur bacteria. Now, this table at this side shows the nomenclature of several chlorophyll derivatives. So we have your phyllenes, phaeophytins, chlorophyllides, phaeophorbides, yon, so on and so forth. Okay? We're going to discuss some of these in the later, no, in this video lesson. Okay? As I've mentioned, chlorophyll has different derivatives, no? And each derivative has its own structure or different structure. Now, these derivatives are formed when chlorophyll is exposed to different factors. So, let us start here with your chlorophyll here. Okay? So, chlorophyll is, again, naturally found as green pigments in your plants, your green vegetables, green leafy vegetables, and fruits or fruit peelings, for example. The color of your chlorophyll is bright green. Okay? Now, when chlorophyll is subjected to heat, for example, nagluto ka, nagpakulo ka ng, ano ba yung tawag yung tinola, for example, tinola, di ba you add sayote or you add papaya, uh, you add malunggay or anong gulay ang ilalagay mo and color green siya, di ba? If nasobrahan ng heat yung gulay mo, green leafy vegetables mo, for example, then you will observe na it will turn to a, a greenish brown color. Okay? So, ang tawag sa greenish brown uh, color na yan, ang compound, no, responsible for the greenish brown color is called phaeophytin. Okay, so yon, brown ang color niya. Now, the addition of heat, again, these places, kita mo naka-subtract yan, di ba? Minus yung sign natin. It displaces the magnesium at the center of your chlorophyll. Pag natanggal yung magnesium na yan, then it will develop that phaeophytin compound, which is again greenish brown color. So from this, you can conclude na it is the magnesium in the as the central atom in your forbin, which is responsible for the green color of your chlorophyll. Now, acid also. Okay? Um, I guess the best example for the acid, sino sa inyo yung nakatry gumawa ng seaweed salad? 'Di ba yung seaweeds, binabanlian mo ng konti ng, you blanch it, no, in warm or hot water, and then you add acid such as vinegar or calamansi. And then, after a while or a few hours, you will notice that the seaweed will turn again a dull brown, no, or greenish brown color. Again, it is the acid um, displaces the magnesium at the central uh, portion of your chlorophyll, no, resulting to the formation of your phaeophytin. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin nito. Now, um, with prolonged heat, no, if you continue heating your chlorophyll or green leafy vegetable, then this is the phytol tail. Okay? Sulat ko dito. Again, the phytol tail or the hydrocarbon tail of your chlorophyll, okay, can be cleaved or separated from your chlorophyll structure or your phaeophytin structure, no, if you subject it to prolonged heat. And then, the resulting product or resulting chlorophyll derivative is what we call your pyrophaeophytin, which is a dull brown in color. So, medyo nagiging brownish na talaga. Nawawala na yung green na pigments niya. Okay? So, again, ibalikan natin ha. Please memorize this, no? The causes, bakit nag-change ng color. Because this is going to be part of your exam. Okay? So, again, si chlorophyll, it has a phytol tail, it has a magnesium central ion in its forbin or porphyrin head. But when you subject it to heat or acid, they displaces the magnesium, no, at the center of your porphyrin. And once magnesium is removed, then phaeophytin is formed. Phaeophytin is a chlorophyll derivative which gives your vegetables its greenish brown color. Okay? Now, if you continue subjecting your uh, fruit or vegetable in prolonged heat, then that heat energy is sufficient to cut or cleave the phytol tail from your chlorophyll, resulting to the formation of pyrophaeophytin, which is dull brown in color. Okay? Now, how about this one naman? Okay, ano naman nangyari dito? So, we start with your chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll, in the presence of an enzyme, okay, this enzyme will cleave the phytol tail. Again, the enzyme will cut, kasi naka-minus yan. So, meaning, na-remove siya. So, the enzyme acting on your chlorophyll will cleave or cut the phytol tail, thus resulting to the formation of a chlorophyll derivative called chlorophyllide. Now, since si chlorophyllide, tail lang ang natanggal sa kanya, yung kulay niya is still bright green. 'Di ba? Bright green pa rin siya. Okay? Pero, this chlorophyllide, if you subject it to heat and acid, Then it removes the magnesium at the center of your porphyrin head, resulting to the formation of the compound or the chlorophyll derivative called pheophorbyde. And this pheophorbyde is, if you can guess, it is greenish brown in color. Again, this shows that it is the magnesium found at the center of your porphyrin head, which is responsible for the green color of your chlorophyll. Okay? Now, um, further, tawag dito, um, heating, okay, will result to the formation of pyropheophorbyde, which is, sorry, dark brown or dull brown in color. Okay, so again, please memorize this flow of reaction because this will come up in your exam. Now let's take a look again at the structure of your structure of your chlorophyll. So your chlorophyll are located in the thylakoid membrane. So ito yung membranes, thylakoid membranes ng ating uh, plant plant cells. Okay? Sandali. Okay, ito. Okay, they are associated, chlorophyll are associated with carotenoids. Okay? They are also associated with lipids and lipoproteins through weak linkages. Okay? So the bonds with carotenoids, lipids, and lipoproteins are easily broken. Hence, chlorophylls can be extracted from the plant tissues, no, with by macerating the plant tissue in organic solvents. So when we say macerating, you just parang ang tawag dito, parang ginadunot siya sa organic solvent. And once macerated in your organic solvent, you can easily extract your uh, chlorophylls. Now, baka ma-confuse kayo, anong um, bakit na-mention dito si carotenoids? It is because, again, carotenoids link, form bonds with your chlorophyll together with some lipids and lipoproteins. Okay? Now, polar solvents are effective, no, in extracting chlorophyll from the plant tissues. Okay? Um, Examples of these polar solvents are your acetone, your methanol, ethanol, ethyl acetate, pyridine, and dimethylformamide. Okay? Then lastly, non-polar solvents can also be used, no, but are less effective in extracting your chlorophyll. So example of these non-polar solvents is your hexane and petroleum ether. Okay, so ano to? This is a table. Hindi ko na-explain to. These are, ano na to eh, identification na to ng chlorophyll using spectrophotometer. So, let's not discuss this. Wala naman tayong spectrophotometer na gagamitin. Now, alterations of chlorophyll, no? In the presence of enzymes, heat, and acid, no? Which we mentioned a few slides back. Okay? So, enzymes. Ano yung ginagawa ng enzymes? How can it contribute to the degradation of your chlorophyll? Now, the enzyme called chlorophyllase is one of the primary enzymes involved in chlorophyll degradation. It is an esterase which catalyzes the cleavage of the phytol from the chlorophylls and thiophyllenes, which forms your chlorophyllides. Ito yung kanina, sabi natin si chlorophyllide is bright green and in color. Okay? So, ito yung kanina na mention natin na si chlorophyllase, tinatanggal niya yung phytol from the chlorophyll. So, yun yung purpose niya. Now, the activity is limited to porphyrins with the carbomethoxy groups at C10 and hydrogens at positions carbon 7 and carbon 8. The chlorophyllide is esterified to form either methyl or ethyl chlorophyllide. Okay? Then, the formation of chlorophyllides in fresh leaves does not occur. So, meaning enzyme is inactive. And chlorophyllase is heat activated post-harvest, meaning it can be activated by heat after harvesting your fruit or vegetables. So for example, yung mango, green mango, 'di ba when you harvest yung mangga, ina-harvest siya natin na medyo green pa, 'di ba? So medyo green pa siya nang i-harvest. And then we just let it ripen, no, over time. Now, as the the fruit ripens, 'di ba? From greenish yung color niya, as it ripens, nakikita natin na nababawasan yung green pigment, meaning nade-degrade yung chlorophyll, and then lumalabas yung yellow na color. Okay? So, actually, ang isang ano diyan responsible for that is that the enzymes, no, naturally present in the skin of your mango fruit, okay, um, is degraded or decomposed by the enzyme chlorophyllase. And ang sinasabi dito na heat-activated post-harvest, if you notice, yung iba, they wrap the fruits in newspaper or sometimes nilalagay siya sa mga plastic. They do that, no, to warm up, no, the environment, to cause the fruit to uh, develop heat, no, mag-warm up siya. And the warming up, no, or the slight increase in temperature activates the chlorophyllase. Thus, mas napapabilis yung pag-ripen ng fruit natin if we wrap it, because again wrapping, no, preserves the internal heat of the fruit and thus elevating the temperature slightly, and nagpo-produce siya ng heat. Okay? Na-notice nyo naman siguro na if yung harvested na fruits, hawakan mo medyo warm siya to the touch, no? It's because of that. Okay? Now, once the chlorophyll is degraded, lumalabas yung yellow color because doon pa lang natin makikita yung carotenoid. Yun, di ba, in the previous slide, sabi natin, chlorophyll and carotenoid usually have a bond, di ba? So once while the chlorophyll is still intact, we cannot see the carotenoid. But when the chlorophyll is degraded or decomposed by the chlorophyllase, then doon lumalabas yung carotenoid. And doon natin na makikita na ay luto na yung, or yung hinog na yung prutas, so yellow na yung kulay niya. Okay? Now, the range of 60 to 82 degrees centigrade is the optimum temperature for chlorophyllase activity in vegetables and fruits. So, above 80 degrees centigrade, the enzyme activity decreases because at this temperature, your enzyme chlorophyllase has already denatured. And then at 100 degrees centigrade, chlorophyllase loses its activity. Okay. Now let's talk about the effect of heat and acid to your chlorophyll. Okay. So there are two groups of chlorophyll derivatives formed during heating, no, based on the presence or absence of magnesium atom in the tetrapyrrole center. So the first chlorophyll derivative is those that contain magnesium. So those that contain magnesium has a green color. Okay? So ito, this one, meron siyang green na color. While those na natanggal yung magnesium, we call them magnesium-free derivatives. Their specific name is phaeophytin. So the color is olive brown in color or greenish brown in color. Okay, so those are the two chlorophyll derivatives, no, that may form with uh, heat and acid. Now, there are some chelators that can retain the green color. And these are your zinc or copper atoms. Now, these zinc or copper atoms may form green metal complex with your chlorophyll. So, if nakikita nyo dito in this first image, okay, so ang nakikita natin dito is copper. No? Instead of magnesium, meron siya copper. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? So, possible that during the um, uh, heat processing, for example, magnesium is removed. Okay? So, magnesium is displaced by the addition of acid at room temperature. Okay? While when it forms a copper complex, meaning nag-add ka ng copper and then it forms a copper complex, this copper complex is more stable in acid solutions. Okay? Thus, retaining the green color of your chlorophyll. Also, the zinc here can also chelate with your chlorophyll. Okay? um, thus forming a zinc phaeophytin which is stable in um, solutions of pH around pH 2. Okay? Now, isomerization, so the first change observed when chlorophyll molecule is exposed to heat. So the inversion of the carbon 10 carboxymethyl group results to the formation of chlorophyll isomers. Okay? So let's take a look at the effect of acid, no, or low pH. Um, So makikita natin dito pH 9. Actually, this is not acid, this is alkaline na. So chlorophyll at alkaline environment is very stable toward heat. Okay? So meaning at alkaline conditions, pwedeng ma-preserve ang green color ng vegetables natin. Okay? Kahit na pakuluan mo siya ng matagal. No? Kasi very stable yung resulting chlorophyll color at alkaline solutions. However, this is not desirable or this is not recommended din kasi na pre-preserve mo nga yung green color but uh, subjecting your vegetables, green leafy vegetables, in extreme heat also destroys the texture, so nagiging mushy, as well as the destruction of nutrients. Now, an acidic media, shall we say pH 3, the chlorophyll is unstable. Okay? Hindi siya stable, meaning there's a possibility na matatanggal ang magnesium ion. Now, cell membrane disruption during heating results to the release of acids. So, kung minsan mapapatanong ka, wala naman akong dinagdag na acid while nagpapakulo ng vegetables. So bakit nag-turn siya ng nag-turn siya ng olive brown, yung kulay ng vegetable natin? Do recall that the plant tissues naturally has acid no within the cell membranes. And when you boil a fruit or vegetable, the cell membrane is disrupted, thus releasing the acids no to your boiling water. Uh, now, oh, nang na-release na yung acid, of course, it will be found in the boiling water, then it can interact with your chlorophyll. Now, the central magnesium ion of chlorophyll again is replaced by two hydrogen ions under acidic conditions forming pheophytin. So, kung magtatanong ka, ma'am, pag natanggal yung magnesium ion while heating or under acidic condition, so anong mangyayari? So, that magnesium is replaced by two hydrogen ions. Now, let's talk about photodegradation. So in photodegradation, from the term itself, no, photo meaning light, and then degradation meaning decomposition or breakdown. So um, chlorophyll, since it is bounded to lipids and carotenoids, no, somehow they are protected from destruction by those carotenoids and lipids. So, medyo protected sila from photodegradation. However, if you recall our lesson about lipids, di ba, lipids undergo photooxidation. And chlorophyll is one of those naturally occurring substances that can act as a photosynthesizer and produce singlet oxygen upon light exposure, which leads to the photooxidation of your lipids. Again, chlorophyll is protected from photodegradation. However, it can act as a photosynthesizer and produce singlet oxygen, which is necessary for lipid oxidation. Okay? Now, carotenoids prevent photooxidative damage through energy quenching. Okay? Now, anong ibig sabihin nito ng energy quenching? Okay? So, if chlorophyll absorbs energy, then it can act as a photosynthesizer. However, in the presence of carotenoids, no, these carotenoids somehow quench the heat energy, therefore um, protecting the chlorophyll. Okay? Now, you might ask, ma'am, photodegradation yung ang discussion dito. Why did you mention heat energy? Okay? Since light, okay, also may generate heat energy. Now, photodegradation of chlorophylls results in the opening of the tetrapyrrole ring and fragmentation into lower molecular weight compounds. So, if you recall the structure of your chlorophyll, di ba, meron siyang apat na pagganyan. Sorry ha, hindi ako uh, mag-drawing. So, ganyan. May apat siya na ganyan, di ba? It's tetrapyrrole ring siya. So, when chlorophyll photodegrades, it results in the opening of your tetrapyrrole ring. Okay? And then, the chlorophyll structure fragments into lower molecular weight compounds. So, only photodegradation of chlorophyll occurs when your carotenoids are fully oxidized. Now, at post-harvest, chlorophyll is no longer protected from photodegradation. Now, what do we mean by this? So, only in um, live na plants, yung fruit, yung leaves still attached to the living plant or tree, doon they are protected, no, from photodegradation. However, once you remove the fruit or the leaves from the plant or the tree, then photodegradation may occur. And what happens is that the green pigment is irreversibly bleached. So, nabi-bleach out siya. So, if titingnan natin yung nasa image dito, no, we have here a maple leaf, okay? And makikita natin yung varying degrees of the green coloration. So, here, yung first na leaf, medyo bright green pa siya. And then, it turns medyo dull green. And then dito may nakikita ka ng bleaching sa edges ng leaf. And then finally, eto na-bleach out na yung chlorophyll na color. Okay, so this is the effect of photodegradation. Again, this only happens when the fruit or the leaf is already detached, no, from the plant or the tree. Now, colorless photodegradation products include methyl ethyl maleimide, glycerol, which is a major breakdown product. Then we have your lactic, citric, succinic, and malonic acids. Okay, so those are the, meron pa pala, si alanine. Okay, so those are the colorless photodegradation products of chlorophyll. Now, let's talk about the effect of salts, no, to chlorophyll. So, when we say salts, these are your chloride salts of sodium, which is your sodium chloride, also known as your table salt. Then we have your magnesium chloride, and then calcium chloride. Okay, so these three salts, no, usually used in food production, has an effect in degradation of chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so these salts decreases the phaeophytin formation. Therefore, there is a decrease in chlorophyll in the sample natin. Okay. The degradation was attributed to the electrostatic shielding effect of the salt. So, ito yung reason why by decrease of chlorophyll in the presence of salts in your food system or food na sample. The metallocomplex formation. Ano yung ibig sabihin nito? Now, zinc or copper ion can displace the two hydrogen atoms within the tetrapyrrole nucleus. So, recall natin ulit kanina yung effect ng heat, no, sa chlorophyll. So, when we say heat, we subjected the chlorophyll to heat, then there is a possibility that the magnesium, ito si magnesium, which is our central ion, can be kicked out, no, from its position and replaced by two hydrogen atoms, no, during yung for example boiling or cooking or application of heat. Now, when this magnesium is kicked out and replaced by two hydrogen atoms, anong mangyayari? Then we have a magnesium-free chlorophyll derivative called phaeophytin. This phaeophytin can form green metallocomplexes with either zinc or copper, meaning si copper can replace the two hydrogen ions, no, na nandoon sa forphine natin, di ba? So once the copper, or in this example yung zinc, okay, replaces the two hydrogen atoms, no, in the center of your chlorophyll structure, then we form a metallocomplex, which is green in color. So this knowledge, okay, is one of the basis, no, why some producers may use food grade na metal ions to preserve the green color of your green leafy vegetables that are being processed. Okay? So, ang tawag sa kanila, yung generic na tawag sa kanila is metallocomplex. But to be specific, if it is the copper that forms a complex, no, with your chlorophyll, then it is called chlorophyllene copper complex. Sorry. Okay? Now, while zinc is called chlorophyllene zinc complex. Now, zinc and copper complexes are more stable in acid than in alkaline conditions. Okay, so usually acidic medium silang dalawa, yung metallocomplex natin. Now, zinc pheophytin is stable in solution at pH 2. Now, color loss during thermal processing. Ito, mabilis natin or na-observe natin to, especially if magluluto tayo sa bahay. Now, the loss of green color during thermal processing indicates the degradation of your chlorophyll to pheophytin and pyropheophytin. Okay, so in this case, pag pheophytin at pyropheophytin, ibig sabihin natanggal yung magnesium ion found at the center of your chlorophyll structure. So we have here, no, we have your frozen, then you have your blanched. Okay, so blanched ang exposure of your sample to heated water, no, for a certain period of time. Okay, and then we have your canned. So nakikita mo, medyo dull na talaga color ng canned at washed out na. It is because of the effect of heat, no, to chlorophyll. Now, the cause of pH reduction, ano ba ito ibig sabihin? Okay, sige. So, thermal processing pala, no, pinag-uusapan natin. Ano yung cause of pH reduction? When we say pH reduction, bumababa yung pH, meaning nagiging acidic yung environment. So, nagiging acidic siya, therefore, it is another factor, no, to remove magnesium at the central portion of your chlorophyll. And alam natin na it is the magnesium that gives your chlorophyll its typical green color. Now, aside from heat, no, acid can also remove this magnesium ion. Okay? So, in canning, you can observe that there is a slight reduction of the pH. Now, bakit nagiging acidic yung ating canned foods? Using fruits and vegetables, for example. So, the reason for this is that the heat applied to your food sample during canning can decompartmentalize the cellular acids, meaning it can break down, no, the cellular barriers which allow cellular acids to leach out into the surrounding water or liquid, no, inside your canned product. Now, these cellular acids, of course, can lead to the lowering of the pH. Also, heat can induce synthesis of new acids. Okay? Now, acids identified to be found naturally, inside the cellular membranes of your fruits and vegetables may include oxalic, malic, citric, acetic, succinic, pyrrolidone carboxylic acid or PCA. Then we have your fatty acids, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. Okay? So ito, glutamine also can lead to the formation of your pyrrolidone carboxylic acid or PCA, which is believed to be the major cause of the increase in acidity of vegetables during heating. Now let's talk about different technology that can be used to preserve chlorophyll, no? Or preserve the green color in your fruits and vegetables during processing. So to preserve the green color in canned vegetables, several approaches are considered. So one of these is forming or retaining green derivatives of chlorophyll, such as your chlorophyllides. Okay, so if maalala nyo si chlorophyllide, eto siya yung variant ng chlorophyll natin or it's the chlorophyll derivative na yung phytol tail niya is removed. But the magnesium is intact at the center and central location ng tetrapyrrole ring natin. Okay? So, yan. That's one approach, no? Another approach is to create a more acceptable green color through metallocomplexes. So, meaning, you employ the use of zinc or copper ions to replace the magnesium which was removed at the center of your tetrapyrrole ring through the application of heat or acid. Now, methods on how to preserve the green color. The number one is acid neutralization to retain chlorophyll. Again, when acid has the ability to replace the magnesium at the center part of your chlorophyll with two hydrogen atoms, right? Now, when we say acid neutralization, meaning, nino-neutralize natin yung acid. So, basically, ginagawa nating neutral or alkaline, going towards alkaline, yung pH ng ating liquid, no? Where you are, tawag dito, medium ng processed vegetables or fruits mo. Now, acid neutralization can be achieved through, number one, addition of alkalizing agents to canned green vegetables. So, ang ginagamit na alkalizing agent is your calcium oxide and sodium dihydrogen phosphate, no? So, they add a pinch of these alkalizing agents to the blanched water to maintain the pH or even to raise the pH to 7.0. Kasi at alkaline pH, chlorophyll is stable. Now, magnesium carbonate or sodium carbonate can also be used in combination with sodium phosphate. So, you have your baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate, di ba? That's one, no, pwedeng gawing neutralizing agent. However, it may, this technology or this method of acid neutralization is deemed to be unsuccessful kasi nare-retain niya nga ang green color pero it causes the softening of the texture of your fruits and vegetables. So, nagiging mushy. ang ating fruits and vegetables, no? And you can taste the alkaline flavor. Yung alkaline flavor na describe dito is yung parang nakakagat ka ng kutsara, 'di ba yung kutsara na metal? Ah, kung nakakagat ka, parang ma-feel mo na parang may ngilo sa ngipin. Yon, yung and then it's a little bit bitter yung taste, no? So yon yung sinasabi na parang alkaline flavor. Okay. Another acid neutralization technique is the Blair process, no? So in the Blair process, they use calcium or magnesium hydroxide to raise the pH and maintain the texture. Now, Blair, ang Blair process comes from the name of a scientist. Kalimutan ko yung first name niya. But his family name is Blair. And in 1940, he recognized the toughening effect of calcium and magnesium when added to vegetables. So, yung kanina, yung sa number 1, di ba, na-mention natin, na ang alkaline, yung effect niya sa texture ay nagiging mushy, right? Pero, with the use of calcium or magnesium, it somehow toughens the cellular materials of your vegetables. So this observation led to the use of calcium or magnesium hydroxide for the purpose of raising the pH and maintaining the texture, no, na para hindi siya maging mushy. Now, this combination of treatments became known as the Blair process. Okay? The commercial application of this process has not been successful because of the inability of the alkalizing agents to effectively neutralize interior tissue acid. So, ang ninyo-neutralize niya lang is yung sa labas ng or surface ng vegetables. Pero, yung mga acids still found within the tissues of our fruits and vegetables could not be neutralized, no? So over a long period of time, these textural acids may have the opportunity to come out or leach out, no? And spread to the surrounding liquid, resulting in a substantial color loss, no? So, sabi dito, the color loss is not immediate but can be observed after less than 2 months of storage, no? So, this is attributed to the leaching out of your tissue acids. Now, another method or strategy is by coating, di ba? Meron tayong can. This is your can, right? So, yung can, yung inner portion niya, meron niyang coating. So, ang ginagawa nila is to coat the interior of the can with ethyl cellulose and 5% magnesium hydroxide. Now, the magnesium oxide from the lining would maintain the pH at near 8 for a longer time and would help stabilize the green color. However, through this method, the leaching of magnesium oxide from the lining of the can to the liquid is very slow. That's why slow down ang ang removal or deterioration ng ating chlorophyll. It is deemed partially successful because increasing the pH of canned vegetables can also cause the hydrolysis of your amides, such as glutamine or asparagine, with the formation of undesirable ammonia-like odor. So, medyo parang amoy utot or amoy ihi. Diba? Possible formation of rancid flavors and formation of struvite, which is a glass-like crystal consisting of magnesium and ammonium phosphate complex. Other methods also includes the HTST method. HTST stands for high temperature short time processing, and this method is found to be less destruction or less destructive to the chlorophyll. However, again, it is not successful in long storage. Now, enzymatic conversion of chlorophyll to chlorophyllides to retain green color. No, this is another strategy. Now, this can be done by blanching your green fruit or vegetable with blanching water at lower temperatures, no, than conventionally used to inactivate the enzymes that has been suggested as a means of achieving better retention of color in green vegetables. Now, in the belief that the chlorophyllides produced have greater thermal stability than their parent compounds. Now, chlorophyllides are more water soluble, no? And thus may retain green color temporarily during processing. Okay, another method is the commercial application of metallocomplex. Again, it is the use of zinc or copper added to your food product, no, to form complexes with your chlorophyll. Okay, another method is the regreening of thermal processed vegetables, uh, which is again using your zinc or copper ions, no. Now let's review, no, the color variations and compounds responsible. By the way, this is your assignment. This is going to be part of your review questions or your attendance, no, for this week. So please write or draw this table in your notebook or a piece of bond paper, and then you write the different chlorophyll derivatives, no, in this column. Okay, so you write chlorophyll, phyphytin, pyrophyphytin, and chlorophyllin complex, no, with zinc and copper. So the color binigay ko na dito, 'di ba? Bright green, olive green, brown, dull brown, ganyan. Now, sa how is it formed? How do you answer this? So you answer, for example, chlorophyll, bright green. So, saan mo siya nakikita? Saan siya nagpo-form? Like for example, phyphytin, pyrophytin, and chlorophyllin. How are they formed? So, for example, you can say na this is formed when chlorophyll is subjected to heat, subjected to light, subjected to acid, yan, etc. Okay, so that's how you answer this table. Now, for your review questions, please ready your paper and ball pen. So, the first question, you can read it. Okay, second question. Okay, third question. So, this one, you answer in paragraph form. Okay, so next question. Okay, so that ends our, ito pala, may last pa. Okay, so after answering these questions, this is, we're done with the first video for Module 3, no, which are all about pigments or colorants in food. Now again, you know the drill. You accomplish the table, which I flashed earlier, and then you answer the review questions and upload it to our uh, Google Classroom.